boy. What's up? Yo, bro. So got the little setup right here.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
A little better than last time, bro. My dad, he had the lights and stuff, so I just I took them, got the orange, I threw the orange on.
Okay.
Topic for the day, obviously the Trump shooting, obviously politics. I feel like, last time we talked Kendrick, but we don't even have those conversations all the time.
Yeah.
So I feel like we got to do real conversations that we actually have. So I think we should go like politics, Trump,
Dive right in.
All right, what's up, y'all? We back here with another podcast. Woo-hoo, number 2.
All right, so today's subject is going to be the Democrats versus the Republicans, the elephants versus the donkeys. The big hoorah right now, whatever it is.
Trending topic right now.
Yeah, it's election year, and every time election year comes around, especially over the last couple presidential elections we've had, things get pretty tumultuous in the country. There's a lot of rhetoric going on. Some of it's fear mongering, some of it is the truth. We wanted to touch today on some of the things we like and dislike about each party and the things we like and dislike about each candidate. And this is like a disclaimer. We're independents. Forget the Republicans and the Democrats.
Green Party.
Let me ask you, Trey.
Yeah.
What is a political party to you, and what do the Democrats and Republican parties represent to you?
So, parties represent ideals, I feel like, especially historically. And there's some I don't agree with. Shout out George Washington. He didn't agree with them. But I think they just represent ideals and teams that people can go for them, right? It galvanizes the people. It's something for people to support, especially with the group of people. It has this groupthink ability when it comes to your community. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what that represents. Mm-hmm. So Republican and Democrat, though, we're talking Republican versus Democrat party, what they represent. I feel like the Democratic Party kind of markets themselves as like for the people, right? For the people. And I feel like Republicans kind of market themselves for the people too, but for more of like American ideals, right? For higher orders of the people. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there was an old like in European philosophy, I forgot his name, but he talked about like there are higher levels of ethics and morals, or like higher levels of like creativity, higher levels of things that people enjoy. And so in those lower levels. So I feel like Republicans represent the highest level that they feel like people should go for in those ideas. I feel like Democratic people just represent what's happening right now in real time. And I feel like that to me is Republican Democrat, and that's where they kind of linger, because it's like this whole, the people represent this. This is what we're about. So this needs to be in positive. Republicans, like, we understand that. Yeah. However, this is what we have found to be true, right? Although we want, you want kids outside all day, the night, not doing it, whatever, right? Because that's what they want. If we go with that, you have kids running around committing crimes. But Republicans say, we understand this to be true. They should be in school. We should indoctrinate them. We should educate them. So I think the Republicans kind of stand for that, and Democrats kind of try to be the voice of the people. And there's pros and cons, I mean, that's kind of like my rant, but there's pros and cons, because you do want to have to represent of the people, because sometimes the people voices are better, because it's like, although you feel like black people should be enslaved, right? The Bible says this is our right? We found, right? The Democratic Party is like, nah, it's not actually true. Now, of course, we understand the Democratic Party at one point was for it. We're not saying that, but we're saying that that's an example of what that party could represent. And that's kind of me what Republicans, Democrats like go for.
Yeah. So, personally, I love a lot of the things that you said. And I think I'm pretty much in strong agreement with a lot of what you said. Yeah. To add to it, personally, I've always hated political parties. I've always thought they were a scourge on this country and other countries.
It's this big group think.
I feel like the reason I feel that way is because I don't like forced segregation. I like self-segregation. People naturally are going to segregate. Like, you go out into any group, any large group of people, like the Hispanics are going to get with the Hispanics, the blacks are going to get with the blacks, The athletic people are going to get with the athletic people. The people that like to read are going to get with the people that read. That's self-segregation. So like, I think it's okay to segregate yourself as a liberal or a conservative or a independent or middle ground kind of person. But when you start saying, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, you've lost the fact that you're an American first.
Yeah.
And then you start voting, I'm gonna vote for a Democrat, so I'm gonna vote for the Republicans. This party's evil, these people are evil. And you're not even looking at policies, nothing your party's doing, nothing the other party's doing, just you're going off of raw emotions based off the fear mongering that both parties do. Both parties are full of lies and liars right now. And so I think that we all need to go back and educate ourselves a little bit more on what the framers wanted for this country and what they wanted the politics and voting side to look like. Because now I'm going to get into what I think personally about both parties. For me, I feel like both parties do not care about the American people. They've gotten far, far away from what the American people actually want and need. When your constituents, the people you represent, aren't willing to stand up and check in on you and hold you accountable, 9 times out of 10, these people are going to run wild and do whatever they want to do. And that's what I feel like the Democrats and the Republicans represent. Because if you elect somebody that's a Democrat, they're going to be enacting laws and policies that is based off of what their party wants, not necessarily what you and your people need in your community. Because what we need here in Dallas, Texas may not be the same as what they need even in Houston, Texas. And it's just down the road. And that's what's important. I think people forget that when they get this idea of Democrat, Republican. Like, I don't care what you are, because what you do is what's important.
Yeah.
And I personally don't like either candidate very much that either party has brought forward. I'll say the Republicans, the people more so got to choose their candidate, and then with Kamala and the Democrats, that whole process has been a little disappointing, to say the very least on that. I'll say
the entire process.
Yeah, I mean,
we are not actually voting people in like we think we are.
And that's why I hate the parties, because they say you got to vote straight ticket, you got to vote for this person, yada yada yada, and they start taking over little by little. Yeah. And that's my biggest problem with both parties, and that's why it's hard for me to say anything positive in the present day about either party. Is because right now I feel like they're just both so lost. I feel like they're individual senators and House members and people that are good, like let's say Thomas Massie. I think he's a Republican that's really level-headed. I think if anything, the Republican Party should look like the Thomas Massies. On the Democrat side, I'd say Sheila Jackson Lee is all right sometimes. Stay away from California. California Democrats, oh my God, those are like,
man,
those some bad people. And then Republicans, like, I feel like
California was good back in the day, though.
Yeah,
people like California.
Democrat. They used to be Republican.
Yeah, they used to be Republican. They were good back in the
Democrat
day.
And everything started going down. First time in their history ever have they lost population. Have they been in a deficit?
Yeah.
Yada yada yada, and it's continued to decline. And then like the southern, the real deep South Republicans, a lot of them are really like idiotic too. And I feel like that's the problem when you vote for like based off the party lines, because a lot of times there are great candidates that go up for these people, but nobody will listen because they're not running as a Democrat or a Republican, or because the party didn't put them at the top of the ticket. Like we see what happened with the Democratic convention over this last year or two. They basically blackballed all other candidates because everybody was polling better than Joe and Kamala. Let's be forward. They weren't doing very good. RFK Jr. and Vivek Ramaswamy, for being honest, probably had the best policies between the two parties.
They were the only ones talking about policies. That's what I feel.
Joe and Trump were like having a fighting match.
I don't even know what they were doing.
Is just a continuation of Joe's policy. I don't think that she. You can go look on her website right now. She doesn't have any policies, and they were having 50, 30,000 people, black people Zoom meetings. They were just donating money. They ain't even heard a word. They just know black, because she's black. And I'm like,
Kamala.
And if you speak out against it as a black person, they will try to persecute you, call you a coon and all that. But at the same time, like, how many of these black people have we tried to trust that messed us over because we're not doing our due diligence and making sure we're putting up the right people?
Yeah, I feel like one of the important things you have to mention, especially when you talk about black people getting in power, any person of color getting into power, is the people in power allowing you to walk through those doors. So this country still prejudiced, but was obviously prejudiced, like like 50, 60 years ago, right? Within lifetimes, within certain generations. It hasn't been too far long ago where we just fought for just to sit in the same school together. We just fought for all of these things. So the country is still have people alive that have fought for that. So the power structure, right? The people that are in power, allowing people to come up there, you have to think about what type of look that they're looking for, and then what type of policies that they're going to allow, because they have the power structure to lift somebody in. And so, although it's amazing, right? We have our first black president. We have a black woman trying to fight to become president, right? This is great, but we also have to look at, like, what are they for to be allowed to represent an entire party that has historically been one-sided, that has historically had these people in power, right? Historically, right? The president changes, but historically, the representatives, the senates, like, these people stay there for a very long time. I do think the power structures that are there, you have to look at that when you look at a candidate. Nothing against Kamala, right? I think Kamala's great. Shout out to my frat, you know. She the fam for sure. But are we as a people looking at both candidates for who they are and their policies? I can't say that honestly and genuinely. And that's based off the TikToks. That's based off the Instagram. That's based off what I'm looking at on the feed. I don't know what everybody's conversation that they're having. I don't know what they're doing. But as a Twitter feed, we are not focused on the policies. We are rooting for teams, right? We are Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Like, we're rooting for teams.
And if anybody asks a question, they try to tell you that you're stupid.
Right.
They don't know what you're talking about. No, we're not stupid. The ones that are stupid are the ones that go along with anything that they're told.
Right. This country was built off of debates, right? They debated for, like, I want to say over months, years to get the Constitution, to get the Articles of Confederation. Like, our whole system, right, the judicial system is built off of debates. And I feel like we have lost the ability to debate and hear opinions that are counter to what we believe in. But we have to be able to do that and be willing to change opinions, right? To change sides for what makes sense. I think
need opposition.
We need opposition. Like, we need that battle between both sides to come to a more inclusive decision, right? And that's why it's important that everybody represents what you represent. You can't follow a team because you lose your voice.
And that's a part of the battle that now, okay, we see if we want abortion in our state, if we want people to have a right to it, yada, 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 well, then we've got to put in the political work, find the people that represent that, not the parties.
Yeah.
Because these Democrats can sit there all day and say they care about abortion, but y'all could have codified it a long time ago. Y'all could have put the work in, but this is a game that they play. Every election, once the election comes close, they make all these promises so they can get your vote, and then they get into office and they don't do anything because they don't care about you. And a lot of the times they're lying to you because when they tell you stuff, because they can't do it because it's not constitutional. The federal government doesn't have all the power in the world to get everything done. Like, people are running around, they can bring slavery back. I understand the 13th Amendment is there, but no, they can't just bring slavery back and put us all in chains and stuff. It's not how it works.
We become lackadaisical, right? If we, like you talked about in the city, if we start just depending on the government, oh, we want the checks, oh, we want the food, oh, they'll fix the road, oh, that ain't my problem, right? It's kind of like, you know, nothing against New York, like the New York mentality, right? To where it's kind of like, oh, it ain't got nothing to do with me, I'm in my headphones. When we become like that, you start to lose ground in the government. And what happens? Gentrification happens. Investors
you don't
come in.
care about your city.
You don't care about your city, right?
They're going to come
buy it from you, right? One of the biggest things that we always talk about is having a seat at the table. What we mean by the seat at the table is, you know, if the history that they tell us is real, when the Articles of Confederation or the Constitution was created, there were rooms where these people debated for a long period of time. I'm supposed to be able to go to this room and advocate for me, advocate for my brother, people in my family. If I have a city and there are fires going out all the time, I'm supposed to go there and say, hey, we need a fire department over here, right? And that's how the fire department got created, right? If we're saying, oh, my mom is always sick, and people in my family, my neighborhood, are always dying, we need to advocate for better hospitalization, right? That's how the hospitals got created, how we got doctors, how we got these institutions in place, right? No one has equal education, so they make equal education, right? We have public education now, right? Oh, these dirt roads, the horses are falling into potholes, and the wheels are falling off, right? So
1700.
Right. So they advocated for that, right? But that's how this thing works. So the seat at the table is having an opportunity to be talk about what's going on for you, right? And but we can't have everybody there. So the purpose to vote is to have representatives who are from your neighborhood, who are from what you're talking about, that can go and advocate for you, right? The person that we put there, right? The person that we put is supposed to advocate for our neighborhood, right, to the city office, right? The city office is supposed to advocate to the state office. The state office is supposed to advocate to the country, and the country is supposed to advocate to the whole globe, right? So we can talk globally as a country and how we interact. That's how this process works, right? But it only works if we actually put ourselves in it. If not, anybody can hold those positions. Anybody can go in there. Any idea can rise to the top. It's supposed to be the best, but the best can only make it if everybody decides to be a part of it, right? If you stop taking the me mentality and take the us mentality, right? If you take the us mentality and say that it's, of course, me first, but me advocating for us, what we need, right? It's taking you and putting yourself into society, right? Not just, I'm gonna buy a house and just do me, take care. No, it's about seeing yourself as an entire society. And I think that's how we better as a country, right? We have to begin to see ourselves as a whole, right? Of course, be best for yourself, but see yourself as a whole as well.
And I agree. And I think, to close, that's why it's important that you should vote. And that's why it's important, I think, you need to be involved on politics, not just on the national level, but on your local level as well. And don't just vote for a Republican or Democrat. Vote for who cares about your community, who cares about you, and they don't have to have exactly the same ideals, because we won't all agree on everything, but who has ideals that line up mostly or best with yours. We're Americans, and I feel like
recording. You know that happened.